This episode is sponsored by Supreme of the UK. Click the link in the description and support the podcast. Quote CFR at the checkout and receive 10% discount on your order.
You're now listening to A-Rod Music.
They don't believe they'll ever see it clean me. I'm thinking, why the fuck all my chicks leave me? Something's wrong with me, something's wrong with me. I don't know what the fuck is wrong with me. All I know is I'm so fucking weak. Can't even go a day, let alone a week without a fucking drink. And a few types of narcotics. What you on? What the fuck you think? I got a habit to all the poppin' Xanax bars, Vicodin and a Adderall, just to have a ball, especially when I'm rapping. I've been to a dark room and I'm conscious of it, but I feel like I'm trapped in. And if I can sing this shit for any longer, my nigga, who knows what the fuck's gonna happen? I got kids raising this hellhole. I don't want them living without daddy. I'm living life with no fear, but I feel I'm doing it the wrong way. I know in the end I'm gonna play if I out there in the hospital where my people don't say you such a fucking disappointment. But I'm a product of their misconduct. No birth control, no condom. 9 months later you got a problem, but they stepped up to the plate. Now it's up to me to profit, learn from the mistakes I make, so I could be more prosperous. Man, I think I turned out straight, but I'm struggling with myself. That's why I get high to escape discouraging thoughts. Cause when I'm sober, sometimes I find myself feeling discouraged and lost. But I'm through paying that cost, cause I know that I have more courage than most. And I know that I gotta slow down in the dope, pick up the pace on my dream and blow. Atomic style, take them thoughts and jot them down. Spit that real, lock it down. Take that throne, rock that crowd. Hit that stage and rock that crown. That makes me feel good. This world is bad, man, and I just wanna feel good. Sometimes I'm a madman and I just wanna feel good. Our life in the sand, man, I just wanna feel good. I grab me a bag, man, cause I just wanna feel good. I just wanna feel good. I just wanna feel good. Right now I feel good. How good? Real good. Right now recording this music is what I do and it makes me feel good. I represent a real hood. Circle, Shot-Town. If you were paid not to hate on me for a nigga, I bet you still would, cause I guess that makes you feel good. I'm a real nigga, I ain't gon' lie. I wanna be in a nice crib and I wanna be gripping grain, nigga, real wood. That vision makes me feel good. Yeah, real good. That vision makes me feel good. Real good. If you're not scared to die for what's right, yeah, that makes me feel good. It'll be a time where we'll all have to fight, and that makes me feel good. Cause that'll be the time we all will unite, and that makes me feel good. And right now I'm on another planet tonight, yeah, that means I feel good. I'ma be walking a ring of Saturn, drinking Hennessy, smoking that fatty, thinking about life and really what matters. I can see the day when my pockets fatter, my vision has come alive. That makes me feel good. This world is bad, man, and I just wanna feel good. Sometimes I'm a madman and I just wanna feel good. I don't like feeling sad, man, I just wanna feel good. Grab me a bag, man, cause I just wanna feel good. Grab a hold of my kids, cause yeah, that makes me feel good.
Like toxic situations, or the mom hates the dad because, you know, the dad's not present or whatever reason. So the mom, instead of building men up, she tears men down. So now her daughter's the same. She will tear her man down. Cause remember, we all people. All of us are people with emotions. None of us are, you know, even Al Capone was a person with emotions.
Yes.
No matter the bad things he did, which is terrible, but he was a person with emotions. So you gotta think, tearing a man down and telling him he's not. A lot of men are nothing because they were told they were nothing. That's a fact.
Yep.
A lot of men are nothing because people told them they were nothing. You know how much man I know, Noble? A lot more than I should know, who literally don't work or do anything. They don't even attempt to because they're scared of failing. I've got so much, listen, I got so much men I personally know who don't even want to work. They don't even want to let go of the flat the council gave them. Because if they let go of that flat, they're scared of investing into a family and losing. A lot of men don't want to leave point A and get to point D because they're scared of going back to point A.
No, they're scared to even get to point B because they haven't had those experiences. They haven't had access to even fail on a small level Like this whole idea and concept comes through from when you're born and you're grown, as you say. So you've got, as you've highlighted, you've got that toxic kind of mother who hates men, but then you've also got a mother, a single mother raising 2 or 3 children, 4 whatever, and she comes from a single parent household, so she hasn't got any overt I hate men. It's just it didn't work out and I've got these children now, let me try and do my best. But she can only put into the children what she can put into them from a feminine aspect. The masculine aspect isn't in the home. So the young impressionable male child is just, he may take on more of a feminine approach to his existence. Not saying he's gonna join that gang or anything, but his mindset is more of a feminine mindset rather than a masculine mindset. So his idea of the world and how relationships are is going to be more in line with a feminine principle.
1000%.
And then again, going through school, you have at break time you play football and you're on one team and the other team, and you might lose. Lunchtime comes, you use a longer period, and you beat them 2-0, 2 games to 1. It's going through those things. It's going to after school clubs. It's participating in your school cup games or your athletic games where you go to Alexander Stadium and you face off against all the schools in the Midlands kind of things, and losing maybe and not coming first, even though in your school you come number 1 all the time. It's going through those processes and understanding. Look, you can't win everything. As long as you put your all into it and learn, like, oh shit, you know what? On the 400 meters, I need to start fast, keep the pace up, and in the last 50 meters, I need to just blow chase fully, and I'm gonna win this thing next time. So it's that these experiences, these lessons, these life experiences, which enable people not to be stuck in, oh well, the council, they pay my council tax, they pay my rent, I get this universal credit thing, I've got just enough to probably buy 3.5 of this damn flavors thing, you know what I mean?
Wow.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
yeah,
the stock, there's not a destination B, C, or D. It's just destination A. Because I'm comfortable here, Mark. Why come out the comfort zone? I never used to play football. Nah, man, I was just in my room on the Xbox with the damn headset on, talking to Yin Yang from damn South Korea.
Yeah.
We had a good relationship, man. You know what I mean? I was on I screen record the thing, I upload it to YouTube. That's it. Dude, go to work, be around people. I've been online for 6 years now. I don't even know how to verbally communicate cohesively. It's these things, man. It's these little things. If they're not done, challenging your child to go outside of themselves. Okay, you give them over to the school, 9 to whatever. What happens after that? Are they going Muay Thai? Are they going kickboxing? Are they going jiu-jitsu? Are they going boxing? Are they going gymnastics? Like, what are they doing outside of that? How are they building up the confidence and the resilience to be not just a kid from this council estate, for instance, or this little leafy suburb? Who are they? Can they bond with people? Do they know about teamwork? Do they know about working as an individual? Before it's time to step out into the wide world and say, look, I'm going to work in a call center and just press buttons for 18 grand a year. That's all I want to do. Oh, yeah, okay, cool. But have you been like groomed of sorts? Have you had the things put into you to being able to do that? Or are you just going to fall into it and think, oh my God, I've got to be here for 8 hours and I've got to press this button in the toilet. This is not what I thought it was. I mean, it's this. We need to arm our children with as much of the tools that they need. So they've got a utility belt, so they can say, oh, I need a flathead screwdriver to deal with that one. Oh yeah, I've got that in the belt in it. Oh yeah, and I've got the tape measure, I've got the wall plugs, I got it all. We're sending our children out to this big wide world with a utility belt with just a hammer.
Yes. Very good analogy. Very good analogy, because people need to understand, you know, I've said it recently before, but now I'm a big man and life happens that fast. Just boom, you're a big man. And looking back, most of the guys and people that were focused on something back in them days are doing either that same thing today on a professional level, or have things figured out, or at least appear to have things figured out. And what am I talking about? I'm talking about if you're taking your child to a plethora of activities, yeah? And I understand cost of living, money, all of that, I get that. But if you're doing that, it gives them friends from, yo, I got all my friends from MMA, yo, I got all my friends from playing football, I got all my friends in play scheme, I got all my friends in school. That's what my parents done for us. We used to go, because at the time when we were growing up, Erdington was a white place, was not a black place. It wasn't like a load of black people what it is today.
No.
They only started moving in like that heavy down the line. But when we were growing up, it was a white place. So what my parents used to say is, yo, these children need culture. So we used to go play scheme in Lozells.
Yeah, man.
We used to go play scheme in Handsworth. You see what I'm saying? Because they wanted us to mingle around other black people.
Yes.
So you see what I'm saying? So going to them places, then I'd still have football. I'd still have judo, because I did judo still. I'd still have trampolining. I've done everything. So there's people that I know, even if it's only one person. I've still got friends from when I was 6 years old that I did trampolining with. You see what I'm saying? Because, and then as the time goes on, you know, even in football, whatever, even with the MMA thing now we've been seeing with Rocky.
Yes.
I remember when that was a ground level. When I remember when my brethren first told me, I was like, that cage fighting looks mad. I said, yo, that looks animalistic almost. And he's saying, yo, trust me, yo. I remember my brethren said to me, he's like, yo, this is the thing, trust me.
Yeah. Yes.
He's like, this thing, it ain't happening now. It might not be next year, it might not be 5 years from now, but this thing. And I remember all them men were just practicing and doing all of that back then. And if you look now, even if guys who were doing that are not having fighting careers, they got a gym.
Yes.
Or they're a trainer. Or they're, you know what I mean? People have found their feet in whatever it may be. And that's why I always tell people, focus on things, focus, man. Don't do it with a view that it's gonna happen overnight. Don't do anything with a view that it's happening like, yo, I'm gonna start doing catering, and then, you know, your catering business is gonna be massive in a year.
Yeah.
It don't work like that.
No.
But that kind of understanding is something that can lack. People can think, you know, I can do that and it happens overnight, whereas it's not the case. And I'm just telling people, if you don't give people belief, of course there's such thing as reality, but if people don't believe that there's better out there, or if people don't believe that there's more out there, then they're never going to go and get it. And that's what I'm saying. I'm giving an example of guys who don't believe. And the reason they don't believe is because they were taught not to believe. Now, they may not be strong enough to break that wall, but even the celebrities and people like, you know, Michael Jacksons and people like that, they all have stories of things that, you know, because they say even with his nose and all that, he was told that he had a big nose for years, to where I know I got a big boy nose, you know, but I've never been told I got a big boy nose, you get me? So to me, it's not, I didn't see it as no issue, because in my yard, everyone's nose looked the same. You get me? So it was just like, everyone's nose is big, you know, like, I know this is a mad analogy, but Like with Shrek, you know when Fiona, you know when Fiona turned into an ogre.
Yeah.
My man didn't really start loving Fiona till she was an ogre.
Yeah.
So as an ogre, that was who he loved because he's an ogre. And what I'm trying to say is, if you look at a man like Michael Jackson, if there's a next man whose nose ain't big and is telling him his nose is big, he can start to believe that, yo, is my nose too big? Now there's a problem.
And coming from his pooper as well. It's coming from him pooper. It's not even like as you've experienced your internally your family never highlighted anything about that. But when you may go to school, you may get an idiot gal or a boy say, yeah, ma, you get big nose. Okay, and what? Okay, well, so that don't mean nothing to me. But when it's coming from within, that leaves an anchor of self-doubt, of self, loathing potentially, because it's constant from what the media makes out. I mean, yeah, that whole story is terrible, man. Rising Paradise to MJ, man, King of Pop. Yeah,
man, legend out here, but you have to have an understanding of how he got to that point. You get what I mean? And I'm gonna keep it 1,000 with you. I rate Joe Jackson. I rate him heavily because to know that he had 5 children growing up in them days and done that. He had more than 5, but to be able to do what he did, I rate that. But that don't mean I won't say that what he did was wrong.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? So you gotta think, this is what I say to parents as well, like, you gotta be very careful about the kind of people that you allow around your children when you're not there too, because they can give them a complex. They can make them start to dislike something about them, especially if it's something that has been highlighted before or something that they personally insecure with. That can bring problems. And I'm saying a lot of these men who don't want to progress or who don't want to grow or who don't want to be a part of a family or whatever reason, if you really sit down and talk to a lot of them, they were told from like 14, 15, you'll never be everything, good. Like their flaws were highlighted. So let's say you got a man or a boy who does 5 things really well, but you only highlight the one thing that he don't do well. That can affect him.
Of course.
That can affect him, and this is what I'm trying to say. There's so much people out there who have been told that. You know how much times I've heard men saying, to me, yo, I'm not getting rid of my flat, Like, even if I meet a woman, I'm keeping my flat. And I'm like, how come? Because in case anything goes wrong with her, I've got somewhere to go back to. But I'm like, but now you've always got that flat there now. I know we spoke about this last week, but now you've always got that flat there. So if you and her argue now, you go there. You see what I mean? Now you've got, like you said, I think you said it before, and now you do mine is the devil's playground, man. So you gotta think. So this is what I'm trying to say. I know enough man who think like that. And I asked, a brother said it to me, said, yo, I'm not getting rid of my flat, boom, boom, boom. I said, how come? And he said, and when I say getting rid of flats, I'm talking about council flats. Not a flat that a man's brought and gonna rent out.
Yeah.
I'm talking about like a man's been living on his own, but then he's met someone and he don't want to give it up. When you really chat to most of the men, they'll always say, my bedroom moved in with this girl and it went wrong and she kicked him out and he was homeless and boom. I've never been in that predicament. And I'll say, you're not your brethren.
Exactly.
You see what I'm saying? But because his brethren now has had that bad experience, his only mission now is to tell other men how bad women are. Yo, don't do that. Nah, she'll kick, if it goes wrong, she'll kick you out. But a man has to understand he's an individual. And that's why so many men are in the predicament they are in. Because a lot of men don't really even want to pass point A to get to point B, like you said.
Nah.
Because he's scared of anything going wrong, yo, what happens if this mashes up? Then I'm back to square one. Whereas now I've got this flat, I'm chilling, I'm pottering, I'm going through life. No one, I've got somewhere to sleep. I can feed myself. Do I really want to leave this to go somewhere that could potentially end up bad?
You see that mindset though, and I'll give Frankie Gary, aka Sarnetta, the credit for this, because this is the first time I heard it being said. He's too happy sucking on the white man's titty. You know what I mean? Like, and when you look at it, hard-working individuals who are listening to this here now, ourselves, family, friends, who work hard and are taxed, and national insurance, PAYE, goes to the government, which in turns gives these people an opportunity to have food, clothing and shelter on us, sibling. They ain't going out there working from of the sweat of their brow, producing anything. Man are just sitting back in there, something there, getting free money. Free money. Juggling a little half ounce here and there. You know what I mean? Huh?
And that's living. What it is. That is exactly what it is, Noble.
It's sad. It's a sad state of affairs where, and again, remember we're talking about stages. Like, let's use the school analogy. We're born with our mother and father trustfully, and then we go to like nursery, yeah. And actually, you tell me, you got children now. When's preschool happen? Is that before you go to primary school?
Yeah, you do. They can do it. So you can do nursery, where the nursery takes them right up to school, or you can do like a year or two in nursery and then a year at preschool.
Okay.
And so then like preschool kind of gets them ready for school. My daughter didn't do it. She went straight to school. But even the homeschooling thing, like, I swear down, like, depending on, touch wood, depending on where I'm really at in the next few years, God willing, things continue to grow for myself. You know what I mean? The homeschooling thing is I'm speaking to a lot of parents who are already doing it.
Yeah, man.
There's people, you know what I mean? I know a sister who's already doing it. I spoke to like 2 brothers over the weekend that are already doing. People have just had enough, Noble, because they're even bringing in the LGBT thing into schools now. Matter of fact, go on your WhatsApp, please, Noble.
Yeah.
We're gonna get Noble's reaction to this live on here.
But do you remember about 4 years ago, I was telling you what was happening in America and stuff, and I was saying this shit's coming here. This is coming here. All the books that they got producing, the drag queen story time thing, it's getting extreme. It's getting way extreme with this thing, boss.
Look on that. Matter of fact, I'm gonna throw it on the stream. This will be up on.
Oh yeah. I saw these things, sibling. I saw it.
And the thing is, it's like the thing. What bothers me about that video, what bothers me heavily about that particular video. It's a video of children going into school and they're celebrating Pride Day in the school, and all the teachers have got on the rainbow merch, and they've dressed the school in the rainbow stuff.
Let me just add to this. Now it's in my remembrance. Now I'm looking at this and you're telling me.
Yeah.
Now you look. Everybody, pull up a Google screen and type in the LGBTQI LMNOP, whatever they've got going on now, flag, and then type in the chakra colours, and just have a look at what's happening in regards to the colours. You look at the chakra system and you look at the flag and you think, interesting. Why have they done the colours that particular way? Now I'll leave that mystery there, Continue, sibling.
Okay, so for me, it's like people will be like, you can't say this, or you can't say that about that particular community. And me personally, the way I look at life is like this. However a man wants to live his life, live your life. You know what I mean? We're all gonna have our judgment, whatever it may be. You see what I'm saying? Whatever it may be, we're all gonna have our judgment. Live your life, because when your judgment comes, I'm not gonna be there. That's how I look at it, Noble.
Yes.
Now, when it comes to my children, it's a situation where, sorry. Yo, a man's playing music outside to the point where, can you hear that?
I could.
Oh my days. I'm gonna have to get some soundproofing on the window. Wow. I honestly thought it was my people playing that, But yeah, so as a father, I don't care how this sounds, toxic masculinity I don't care. I know what's best for my children. To the point they get to 16, then they can start to say, okay, this is what I want to do. And then when they get to 18, they can do what they want. But as things stand right now, I know what's best for them as a father. Now, if I'm watching a movie, this is the culture in my home. If I'm watching something and a scene goes into like a sexual kind of scene, that has to either be turned off or skip past it. Do you see what I mean?
Standard mark. That's.
You would think that noble.
No,
that
it
it's
is
not noble. Trust me.
Huh?
Noble. You would think it's standard. Believe me, you would think it's standard. But I'm telling you, I'm watching all out power scenes, everything. Little babies, little kids are running around.
I had to put my hands on my eyes because we couldn't fast forward nothing back in the day. My mom, I remember when Belly come out. I remember when my dad come home with the Belly DVD and was like, yo, this is a new movie, and threw it in. And when the funny scenes was on, close your eyes. Yes.
Close your eyes. And these times, man are like, I don't even know, but wasn't no like baby. Now, this is the culture. So that's one example. Another example is if I'm in my car, so going back to the early convo, this is why I don't play dancehall no more. But if I'm in the car and some mad song comes on, skip that song immediately.
Yes.
I don't even want them kind of words or nothing in their existence. Now, I'm not saying they don't go to school and kids are there swearing and all that. I'm not saying that, but they know with me, that's a no-no.
Yeah.
So
boundaries.
Yeah, boundaries. So I'm giving that example to show you. I don't want them even knowing nothing about heterosexual stuff right now. I want them to just be children.
Exactly, simply. That's the essence of it. Take emotion out of it. They're children. Let them be children. When they get to secondary school, that's when we need to be having those conversations about sexuality and stuff. Number one, heterosexual business, and then we can start looking at all the other, elements to that. It's wrong, man. It's corrupting the minds of the children. It's giving them options when that option shouldn't even be on the table.
Facts. A child, a lot of parents have traumatized their child and don't even know it. Your child should be a child. You need to create a world for them to be a child. It doesn't matter what your situation is, because ladies, a lot of you ladies are to blame too for your son's direction. I'll give an example. So a lot of ladies now who are single parents might be going through it financially. The child ain't supposed to know.
No.
He's not supposed to know that financially you guys are suffering. He's not supposed to know. There's a scene in The Pursuit of Happiness, where Will Smith needs to sleep in the bathroom with his son. You know what he does? He pretends to play a game and then drops his son to sleep. Your children are not supposed to know hardship, because what you're doing then is your son's gonna look and say, yo, not on road, he can get drawn in, he can get recruited now because he wants to make money for mommy.
Yes.
But what a lot of single moms need to understand is, you're broke, your children ain't broke. Your children are children, and one day they could be successful. Give them that chance. Just drop them to school and do your best. Just do your best. A lot of people don't have no faith in today's world either. A lot of people just think this is it, you know. A lot of people just think we're just here living and and that's what bothers me too. Like, that's not the case. Like, anything, listen, take it from me. I'm not no religious guy, nothing. Trust me, I believe in God, but I'm not no big religious guy, none of that. But everything I've ever worried about in life, I didn't need to worry about it. Do you understand what I'm saying?
1,000.
And this is what I'm trying to say. A lot of these single moms and that, and then what you do, because it happened in Top Boy, they put the storyline in Top Boy, where the mom was broke and the little boy went to go and make burgers.
Yes.
Yes. And then after the burgers, he never made enough money. He went to go country and do road. I remember he took his brethren, Jamie's brother. And that's what I'm saying. A lot of us lead our children to that path by making them believe that they're in a financial position. No, you are as the parent. The child's not in no position. The child's fine. Same thing with sexuality and stuff. Don't influence their young, impressionable minds to even be aroused. Because even as a child, I remember seeing certain things on TV and your thing would stand up, but you don't know why it's standing up though.
Yeah.
You see what I'm trying to say? Because we're humans. That is natural. So you be looking at things and you don't even know why it's standing up. You know now as a big man, but as a child, as a boy, you don't even know.
But luckily, Mark, because you grew up in a 2-parent household, that could happen 1 or 2, 3, 4, 5 times. Yo, Dad. And you can have that conversation as someone who is brought up by just a mother, and you're a man child. You know, depending what kind of relationship what you got with your mom. If you're real close, you might say, hey mom, you know, but generally that's not a conversation you have with your mother, right?
No, the conversation needs to come from your dad. And remember, as a boy, yeah, that's the person you want to impress, unless you don't respect your dad, but that's the person you want to impress. I remember I always wanted to impress my dad. I always wanted him to be able to be like, yeah, you like to be proud.
My son.
Yeah, I always wanted to be that. So I remember one time, yeah, Valentine's, I had 2 cards from 2 different women, from 2 different girls. And I said to my dad, yo, I got 2 cards, you know, from 2 different girls. And my dad was like, why you got 2 cards for? And I was like, you know how the thing goes, really. And he was like, that ain't good, you know.
Yeah.
And I remember just thinking, but imagine if my mother had been like, yeah man, big boy girl is some firms off my hand.
Yes.
I'd probably have 5 baby mothers right now.
6 baby mama, you'd have Mark, man.
Trust me, because now I'm thinking, because I remember one of my bedroom, I remember as a bigger, an older boy, and then I had a bedroom who was older than me, like a bigger man for me. And he had bare youths and we'd be rolling and man would firms off his hand, you know, Noble, and be like, yeah man, him have the whole heap of girl there, man. And I remember that firms, and I remember my mom would be like, yo, like he loved it, you see what I'm saying? Because he knew. Because man would always be like, my man's a face, man, and and he'd be like, yeah man, bare youths he's got. I think now he's left. Like he's cut from the country, I'm pretty sure.
Right.
But my man was breeding everything. And what I'm saying is the community, even though he's to blame, but mans weren't calling it out.
No.
Whereas my pops, I got called out straight away, and that thing there, I remember from that point there, with him anyway, that was never a conversation.
Yeah.
Because I knew that he was not on that.
Mm.
And that's what I'm trying to say. So when it comes to this LGBT thing now, my youths ain't celebrating that, fam. I take back no talk. They're not celebrating nothing like that. And in schools, if they think they're going to put my youths on that particular day, I'll keep them off school.
Simple thing.
That particular day, even if it's a 2-day thing, even if the decorations are up for a week, they're off that whole week. And I'll pay the fine.
Yeah.
Because
you'll get fined now and all that kind of madness.
Yeah, man,
innit?
you get fined now, man. My daughter just went to Jamaica. She did a week in term time. So you got to pay the P.
See, just imagine your folks had to do that back in the day. That would be like so what's that money doing then? I'm going to give the school that money. Why? See, what you're telling me is that if my child isn't in school, you don't receive money from the government then or something. Like, why am I having to pay you? This is a cultural family vacation. We ain't just going to Disneyland and thing. We're going home.
This is my whole thing. This is what I'm trying to say. So I'm trying to explain to people, because even there's a next parent. This little zone I live in, it's quite tight knit still. And one of the dads, there's a black brother who lives around the corner, and I see him at the gym and that still. But he watches the show and everything as well. So I was reasoning with him in the gym, and he was like, "Yo, nah, my youths ain't going to school, fam, if they put that on." He's like, "They're not going," and I was like, I'm like, "Talk to me." I'm like, what are you saying? I said, "Surely they've got to give us a consent form."
No.
No. For real, they don't even. You see what I'm saying?
No.
You see what? You don't even know ahead of time.
No, you don't. This is how there's people have been gone to court or they've taken children out and all this business. More down south still, but I've seen multiple cases of videos being shown to children and all this kind of stuff without prior consent or knowledge of the parents that has turned up at school one day, and the youth even excused themselves. It was kind of similar to that bill you did about the laws in Uganda. Similar kind of thing.
Yeah, that's zero tolerance over there still.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. There's certain countries they're not ramping, but what I'm saying is, I get it. I get the religious side of it and all of that, but at what point can a parent who's financially responsible for their child, at what point does a parent have the power to say, "I don't want that for my child. I don't care what you do with yours, but I don't want that for mine." And since man is saying it's a scientific thing, then you shouldn't be worried then, because that means that if they're gonna be that, there will be that anyway, then, isn't it? But this is what I'm trying to say: they're forcing certain things on man's youths, and you're not doing that to my children. You're not putting them in nothing I don't want them in. I don't care. I don't care how it sounds. I don't care about this new age feminist movement or none of that. I don't care about any groups or not how it sounds. When it comes to my youths, I'm dropping the Farrakhan bar to brothers. I'm disciplining them today so the system don't tomorrow. Because when all my cousins and all them are doing 10 years in prison and rare this and that and 5 years in this and that, the system no one ain't questioning the system. No one ain't saying, "Well, boy, my man this," and no one cares. So don't question me now. Let me do what I need to do. Because I don't want slowly. My youths, even with the thing of if you beat your youths and all
exactly. That's where I was gonna go.
That's when we were growing up, yeah. that I'm not saying. Listen, I understand child abuse and all that, and I remember one time a clip on a blog got posted where I said, "You're meant to be fearful of a parent." I don't take back no talk. I stand by it. A parent is an authority figure. It's not your friend. Your mom or dad is not your friend. It's an authority figure that knows what's best for you. This is what I'm saying. If you don't respect the authority in the home, you won't respect any authority.
None.
And enough men don't have no authority. So if you don't respect that, you don't respect dad's law, mom's law. You think you're going to respect the main government law? You're going to go out there knowing that, yo, I don't need to respect laws. A man dropped something to me, you know. A man dropped something to me. It made sense. He said, yo, this is a brother, big up this brother. We was chatting on the gram. And my man said, the end of the day, you can leave the country, you know, but it's about the people respect the country's law.
Yes.
People don't respect the UK's law.
No.
That's why it's the way it is here. Mm-hmm. You go Dubai and see how much things go on there. Mm-hmm. Go Saudi Arabia.
Yes.
All them Islamic states and all that. I'm not saying they don't have their problems, but you're not seeing no man doing certain stupidity because he knows it's a mazza if he gets caught.
Of course.
Whereas here, a man knows slap on the wrist for the most part. So I'm saying my law, I don't care what goes on outside of my doors. This is the country, this house is the country, and I'm the prime minister.
You're the king, boss. You're the king of that there.
Kings don't pass laws, don't it?
Well, it's head of states.
Yeah.
I won't get technical, but yo, head of state, boss.
And then your woman's the first lady.
Yes.
That's it. It doesn't matter how you're both the same. Okay, so why ain't Bill Clinton's wife the same then? Why ain't Tony Blair's wife the same? Why ain't what's the brother who's in now? Rishi Sunak. Why ain't his wife the same? No, their people are first lady or yes. what's the British?
I don't know. You know.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. So I'm saying that's how I look at my yard. So all this thing of, oh, your youth's gonna learn LGBT. No, it's not. No, he's not. He's not celebrating nothing. I'm not saying that he ain't hateful towards no one, or I'm not gonna teach him to hate anyone. You know what I mean? Yeah. Yeah. But he don't need to celebrate that. Just like Diwali and all them things, man can look and say, yeah, man, big up, yo, you like big up yourself. I'm not whatever that religion. I'm not part of that. So Diwali means nothing to me. Just like my Muslim brothers, I know a lot of them and I'm cool with a lot of them. When it's Eid, I hate them, man. Yo, big up yourself, man. Happy Eid. But I'm not celebrating because I'm not Muslim. Do you get what I'm trying to say? And that's why it's not the same for other things.
Because they're changing up the thing, Mark. As I was in school, as you was in school, we were taught about the various religions, and sometimes, actually, I don't recall there was any kind of Diwali celebration at my school, and nothing, no Hanukkah, because there was no Jewish influence at my school, and nothing Islamic. There was nothing like that. We were just taught about the various religions and their customs and cultures. That was it. Outside of that, you may have a Pakistani person in your school, in your class, and you can have that conversation and try and understand what you've been taught at school. How does that relate to them? A Hindu person, male or female. And that's how you grow as a person. They don't put videos down and show you, this and this and this is what this religion does and blah blah blah. Oh, and let's talk about Animal Farm and bestiality and stuff. We'll show you. There was none of that. But now there's a clear agenda, clear as day. If parents don't see this, because it's coming to a school near you, and you need to be in your children's life more than ever these days. Because the outside influences, it's not just someone on the roads talking to them, because stranger danger, even though that shit ain't taught no more.
It's not.
They've got pocket computers now. Most of these youths.
They're on
parents say apps and all that business, and parents ain't putting on the specific blocks on their children's phones. And I know some of them might be technical whizzes and stuff, but I'm sure there's a capability, especially with Apple, where you can have like a parental lock kind of thing on there.
No, boy. This is what I'm saying to you. Let's get personal. You see, in this house, yeah, I've got a thing called Nighthawk. Mm-hmm. Now, listen what this Nighthawk does. You see, any device that's connected to the internet in this house, it can turn off from my phone. I can see browsing history on their iPad. You see what I'm saying? I can block whatever site. I could block JD Sports if I wanted to. Now, some people might say that's a bit extreme, but that's what you have to be to keep your children in order in today's world, because there's so much things pulling them down the wrong way.
It's no different to a parent back in the day going into their children's bedroom to have a look. What's going on? I've noticed a change in your behavior or whatever, or I just want to see what's going on in your room. Have you, what you got in here? My house.
And I remember when one of my people bought a water bed. Yeah, he brought a water bed, At the time, water beds was a thing where a salesman had to come out to the yard.
Exactly.
A man had to come out to the yard, set a demo up in the yard, and sell you the bed. My man spent £3,000 on the bed, and his mom, no job, none of that. And I remember at the time thinking, your mama even asked you where you got that from. You see what I'm saying? Like I couldn't bring that into my mom's yard. I was making money all throughout school. I used to hustle PS1 games, PlayStation 1. If a man had his PlayStation chipped because of my dad and my dad's business, and my uncle used to sell CDs and he had all the burners and all that. So I used to burn all the games. I was making a killing. But my mom knew, because I remember you'd see me, boom, Helly Hansen, boom, latest trainers. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. Mark, like, mommy, I'm doing my thing, I'm making money, Oh, okay. You see what I mean? Whereas his mom, she never said nothing. So then it comes like that scene, look, American Gangster, you ever watch that? There's a scene where Frank builds the house that he comes from down south and takes his mom to the house for the first time. And his mom's like, how did you remember? This is so lovely. This is so beautiful. Hugging him, kissing him and everything. Yeah. My mom would have been like, how'd you buy this?
Yes.
Now, when he got busted, she slapped him and all that and kicked off. You helped him do that. Because you didn't even say, yo, where you get it from.
Enable.
And even, because I'm not saying you can tell no grown man what to do, but you could even say, yo, just be careful, My dad's that kind of man, he'll say, okay, that's what you're doing. Just be careful what you're doing, because that, that could go very wrong.
Very wrong.
So just make sure you know what you're doing. A lot of man ain't got that. But for the dads who are about, like myself, sorry, you're not telling me my youth celebrating no Pride Day or none of that. I don't care how it sounds, because what they're doing now is, if you say, I don't want to do that, or I don't want my children a part of that, oh, you're homophobic, or you're a homophobe. Look what happened to one little streamer who they use his likeness in Call of Duty. He tweeted out Noble and said, children should be children always. Yes. They took him off the game.
Oh
the man God. said children should be children. He didn't pinpoint no group or anything. He just said children should be children. And this was in reaction to a similar video in the States. They've pulled the bread from the game.
You can't, it's wrong. It's wrong. But in this crazy time we're in now, if you're of anybody of influence, if you're working for and you've got your real name and your picture out there and all this business, you can't comment under those things unless you're going to promote it and like co-sign this interesting material that gets posted quite frequently of men, dressed as women, doing all kinds of stuff, and then the children are giving them dollars like it's like a lap dance kind of thing. It's that's trauma, that is. And then you go to New York City, and I think they've had 2 parades, haven't they? But they've blocked off parts of New York, and they're up and down there in dog outfits and dressed so inappropriately.
Man are wearing PVC batty riders and all that.
Yeah, man. And then they've got children and like just about toddlers. They've got them in pushchairs there. And I've seen multiple videos of children crying, like turning their head away and stuff. Like, I don't want to see this. But their parents are so brainwashed. I even saw a video, and it has to be satire. It has to be satire, or it's just controversial, just for the likes. There was a black woman on there. Was she black? Yeah, a black woman on there. Newborn baby. I hope he's part of that group. I hope he's part of that group. I hope he's part of that group. You know, I'm gonna grow him up, and he's got to be a part of that group. You know, huh? How about you've got to raise, love, guide, and protect that child, and if the child wants to go down that route and make that decision, then that's what that child's going to do. No, you know, this baby, he's going to be like Jeff Bezos. He's going to be a Wagadan billionaire, man. Yeah, I want to see. I'm going to put him into computers or something. I'm going to put the infrastructure in place to allow this young, malleable child to become a grown man or woman and be able to control his own or her own destiny. There's none of that talk. It seems to be so popular now to do this weird stuff. To do which is outside of the norm. Yeah, let me pretty it up. Outside of the normality. And then you highlighted two phrases, homophobe and all these, yeah? It's an oxymoronic statement. Remember how we said, or words have power and they also have meanings? So to have any phobia means what? Arachnophobia. So unless you're mentally unstable, who is scared of someone's sexual preference? Outside of maybe these weirdos who like to mess with young people, I would be scared for anyone who is in the vicinity around that kind of thing. Not scared for me, but scared for what they can potentially do. That maybe we could say we've got a phobia in that respect. But to someone's quote unquote norm / outside of the norm, sexual preference, nobody's scared of you. We're scared of potentially talking our minds because of the repercussions. Because as Mark's highlighted, my youth's off the game now for commenting underneath a video. Nothing of any hate.
Tweet.
It's wrong, man. It's wrong. It's making people have to self-censor. It's making people have to think, oh my God, I'm talking to Steve. I better toe the line talking to Steve. Yeah, Steve, yeah, man. I've got one of those scarves, you know, with all the colours on it as well. Yeah, and you know, I stand outside my door on that particular day in June. Don't know why they picked June for. And I'll clap and stuff, and yeah, I've got mates, and you know, they're into all that kind of stuff, and yeah, we'll go down to the gay village and frequent their businesses down there and make them more money and stuff. Huh? Look, as long as you don't commit violence, promote violence, discriminate, let people do what the hell they want to do, like you've been doing. They've been doing this. Now, there have been wicked, evil, knuckle-dragging people who have attacked people of that community, if we can call it that. Because most people that I've spoken to say there is no community. We just do our thing. That's it, man.
Yeah, some people are offended still.
Yeah, man.
Some people are offended, but when it comes, like, I'm just a realist, and it like the system can't tell me nothing. I've got this far in my life, yeah, by ignoring the laws of man anyway. I mean, within reason.
Yes.
In terms of like, I did my own thing in it. You see what I mean? And you know, I done things my way, like Osha. You see what I mean? Whereas them people now, they're gonna say, no, it's Pride Day, and you know, we gotta celebrate. You know, we gotta celebrate it. And go on. I'm saying if you're gay or a lesbian, yes, that's Pride Day for you. But for my children, they're not gay or lesbian. They don't even know what they are. Yeah, because they're not thinking about nothing like that right now. They're thinking about Mario Kart and Nintendo Switch and Fortnite and dancing, and you know, that's what they're thinking about, birthday parties, and they're not thinking about nothing like that. So I'm not forcing them things onto them. Like if I feel like I'm I'm responsible for them. So that comes with a level of navigation. Because I navigate properly when it comes to my children, you know.
I think.
Like they're not gonna see no, and don't get twisted, you know, you can't 100% avoid certain things, but you know, I'm a realist and you know I'm consistent because you see me say it with dancehall earlier. There's gonna be no dancehall playing in a car where man are talking about shooting man and gal sucking his hood and wearing no, because what happens then is, Dad, what does that mean?
Yeah.
Now you gotta lie. You shouldn't have been playing it in the first place. You see what I'm saying? Like, he's not supposed to know that. When them things happen for him down the line, I don't never want to know.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Action movies with violence and stuff on there. How does that play into this concept?
Can you give me an example of a movie?
Let's say the classic and one of my favorite Arnold Schwarzenegger, I'll slay and kill a whole bunch of NI so-and-sos. Last Action Hero.
I've never seen it.
Oh my, peep it. Put that on you. Everyone peep that there. Else?
You got another one? I ain't seen that one. Anything, it can be of any era. Just give me an example.
Predator then. You watched Predator.
Yeah. These like, I watched so my daughter, she won't watch Predator because she's still of that age where she's still a bit scared. But my son, my big son, we'll watch Predator together because he understands it's a film.
Yeah.
But something like Predator, it's not. There's violence, but because a Predator is not a real thing.
Exactly.
You see what I mean? But if you're talking about a film like, say,
Saw.
Oh, that's a. I personally. Wait, hold on.
That's graphic, man. That's
hold on. I want to be real. I don't want to come on this thing and lie. You get me? Because I'm a realist.
Yeah.
Potentially, my big son potentially could consume that. He will be scared though. He ain't gonna watch it because he'll be scared himself. And that's testament. I've put certain fears in him of certain things.
Yeah.
So there's certain things he won't even watch. Like, he will not watch it.
Oh yeah. Okay.
I watched it, you know, when I was younger.
The first one, the property.
Yeah, man, what you mean? When I watched that with my nan. Look, well, no, it was my nan's church sister. I watched that at her house. Terrible movie to watch a child, but with movies, I get it. They're still bad, but I watched Belly we watched Belly as a family, you know, because we've got a certain, I think my parents know, we understand it's a movie. They know I'm not going to watch Belly. And then, I'm going to get this money. I'm going to go out there and link the connect and, you know, I'm going to go and link this puppy over there. And they know I'm not going to do that. They know I know it's a movie. Because listen, I've been playing Mortal Kombat from I was knee high.
And
I was putting fatality on man from I was knee high.
Finish him.
But music in the car, if there was even one word, even if a man said the F word, my dad would lock it off. I used to do, so you'd have music that couldn't run and real life stuff couldn't run, you know what I mean? Anything real life couldn't run, but things like games and stuff, my parents didn't really care. But I understand there are some children who can't play certain games, but my son, I'll get him whatever game he wants because I know he's not going to play that game and then want to be that person. You see what I mean? But certain
he's mentally mature enough to be able to differentiate the two.
Exactly. But certain other stuff, like real life stuff, I don't want him to have an understanding of it. So stuff like, you know, sexuality and sex and drugs and
okay then.
That stuff I don't even want in his, you know what I mean?
In his cipher now, 100%. At what age are you thinking of tackling that?
When you say tackling it, what you mean, like introducing that stuff?
Yeah, and having that conversation.
I mean, when he starts to step into certain worlds, the kind of relationship and the kind of culture that I've created in this home, he can come and talk to me. So let's say something could happen for him out of this house, and I've built up a system where you can talk to dad about that. So you can come and say, yo, boom, this happened. And I can, give him an understanding, and he knows I'm not lying. You see what I mean? He'll know whatever I say is facts. Like if I tell a man, if I say, because really what your dad is, we use we talk about life, and we talk about life being a long main road.
Yes.
Yes. Your dad he's already walked that road.
Exactly.
So you got to look at your dad like this. I can definitely say this about my dad, and I can say it about both my granddads. They've walked that road. So when I'm traveling the road and I come up to an obstacle, I can phone and say, this is my obstacle. And I know that they can give me advice that works, or I can take from it.
Yes.
Because I know they would have seen it before. There's nothing new under the sun. Today would have seen a scenario or something. But I just think we have to bring back unapologetic dads. And that's what I am. I'm unapologetic. No one's going to tell me how to raise my youths. Because when the judge bangs that hammer with your youths, it's you who's going to feel it, not no one else. If my youth if any of my children need a kidney today, I'm going to say to the doctor, where do I sign?
And how long is it
going
going
to
take?
You're not doing that for my child. You ain't got no say, mate. Simple.
No, more than that. If they're not putting food, clothing, and shelter, on that day, and can provide kidneys, blood transplants, all that kind of thing, love, protection, guidance, and all that thing, nobody has got no right to say anything unless you're neglecting. Now, this is where the state does need to step in, is when parents are neglecting, abusing their children. Then, of course,
yes,
you can't do
different.
that.
That's something, and that's a whole different conversation. Because yes, there are abusive parents. There are parents that you do have tragic situations, but a dad like me, a dad like you, a dad like my dad, and the people like that, we're unapologetic. No one's telling us nothing. Definitely not me. You're not putting my youth in no praying. And this is, I'm really, like, I swear that I'm really, really, for the first time in my life, thinking about chipping, Noble. No, I swear that I'm really, really thinking about chipping, because I've built up enough here that an infrastructure could still support me abroad. Because I just spent out my, you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, no, listen,
you know
I know exactly what you're saying, and I've thought
man.
about it as well. But realistically, we're highlighting some negatives, but there's so much positives within the UK to a point.
There's a lot of positives. There's a lot of positives here, but it's like I'm saying to you, like,
to raise your children and all that. Before you continue, yes, I would say yeah. Me, I'm more thinking of seasonal residence, where I'm here for the minimum, like, couple months, and then back to where, the main thing, quote unquote, is that's my idea.
In my life, I mean, we don't know. I don't know. How much sand I've got left in my clock. You see what I'm trying to say?
Yes.
But God willing, there's a lot of sand left in that clock, and if that sand does what it's supposed to do, I will definitely leave at one point or another. That's a fact. I won't. My eyes won't close here. Like, you know what I mean? My eye, that Mark Hamilton story won't finish here. It'll be somewhere else. even if it's only 10 years.
Yeah.
But that time will come, you know what I mean? Because life is so short, man. And I'm just saying, like, things here are getting more and more ridiculous. The feminist movement, the man v woman movement, it's just things are getting stupid. And I get what you're saying. There's a lot of positives here, a lot. I'm not one of them people that's going to come here and that's going to just bash this structure. I'm not going to do that. They get a lot wrong, but there is a lot right with it too.
Yes.
Let's keep it 1,000. You see what I'm saying? We ain't one of them people that's going to lie. There's a lot right here, but the things that are going wrong can be
really going. Yes.
See what I'm saying? And that's all I'm saying. And when it comes to that, you can't even say that you want A, B, or C for your children. That's crazy to me. That's crazy to me because how can you tell a man that? And then what they'll do is put labels on you.
Yes, so good old labels.
And say, boom, you know, I don't really want my children to do this. Oh, you're controlling them. That's abusive, coercive, control.
Yeah.
And then that's the prop that they're able to throw that on anyone. And then another thing I hate here is the court of public opinion.
Yeah.
I hate the fact that anyone can just say something and it be taken as gospel. Like, people are not even given their day in court. It's just like, he was accused, so yeah, he's guilty. Like, all that stuff I hate here. There's a lot of things, man. There's a lot of things that are going on, but that Pride Day in school thing, I think, if they make that really go on, then that's a massive red flag.
There's a lot of people
let that happen
who are considering taking their children out of mainstream education, or the fooling system, as I call it, because you're not getting the value anymore. You are not getting the value. The only value you are getting by putting your child into the fooling system is social compatibility, or showing them how to coexist with others from different cultures, from different backgrounds, and how to communicate, etc. Looking at authority figures, sticking to a schedule, going from one class to another class. Outside of that, and maybe because they would have already gone through primary school, so they know maths, they know some English, so they'll be getting a bit more in regards to English literature and stuff. If you've got the time and you have the funds, just take them out, man. Take them out. School them from home. It's not a full day, because a full day, literally, if you was to do a school day's worth of work at your home, that is an equivalent to, I think, 2.5 or 3 days at school. So you don't even necessarily, it's a couple hours here, it's a couple hours there.
Information actually being given out in school like that.
There's hardly any. And then any areas that you can't fulfill, you go onto the old whatever. There's a website someone gave me. I can't remember what it is off the top of my head, where you can have a pool of qualified teachers and tutors who you can pay a rate to and say, this is what I need to do. You come to the house, or you go to a specific center, and you get your child tutored for that part of the bits that you can't do, science-wise, chemistry, physics, biology, whatever it is. And you will be amazed on how quickly they will be going through. Like, you hear these child geniuses who go to university or college at the age of 12 or 6 and all this kind of business. They're homeschooled. All right.
Yeah.
They ain't going to no mainstream school. Their parents know the value in putting into them. It's the input. Children are like Johnny Five, short circuit. Input. As we've been highlighting for the last whole of this build, what are you inputting into the child?
That's it. And this is what and a lot of people are falling victim to this, to the feminist movement and the hate of men, where they're falling back on their position. So they're seeing things, and knowing that they could interject and save somebody, but because they're afraid of being called a misogynist, or these words, these labels, these buzzwords, as Tate would say, they're able to slap it. And when you really think about it, people say that Tate chat shit, but really what he's saying is true, because look at the press he got And look at the press Philip Schofield got. You see what I'm saying? His press was, people were literally, he was guilty. He was guilty. Like without even, without no evidence, nothing, they said he was guilty. Schofield, we've seen the pictures, everything. And it's, but it's not a crime.
Hey, because we haven't touched on this, right? We haven't touched on this as we wind this bill down, sibling.
Yeah, man. Because we straight over 2 hours,
Yeah, man, I see.
Yeah, man.
Right. So Andrew Tate, as you've highlighted, yeah, he's like Marmite. Some people love him, some people hate him. Now, as you've highlighted and said, what he says, the majority of the meat, not the bones, the gristle and all that kind of stuff, is facts. You can't just be as successful as he's become talking bullshit. It's the delivery, it's the fat and the gristle that people are offended by or don't like, and it's the delivery, it's that stance that he's got versus, and also he's on his own platforms doing his own thing versus Mr. Schofield from Going Live days, Gordon the Golfer. Yeah. This dude has committed, in my opinion, a crime. Because
Schofield.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because isn't there something called grooming? The grooming's illegal, right? That's against the law, isn't it?
100%.
You can't groom somebody. So it's the speculation in regards to, what and what. But he knew this youth from when he was in secondary school. Oh, good. From secondary school. What business has any grown man got to do talking, conversing with anybody in a secondary school who is 10, 20, 30 years younger than them? What we doing? Outside of saying maybe good job, nice photograph of that scene or whatever, or good luck on you, entering the media industry. What relationship should you be having? It's highly inappropriate. And I've known about this for many years. Other people, because I didn't just dig around and find it myself, other independent media have been asking the question, what on earth's happening? Why is this, how comes nothing's being done about this? This is akin to the old person who they waited till he died before they started bringing up, this historical, mistreatment of young children, Jimmy Savile and Rolf Harris, and we got all these people, man. We got all these people, and they're working for major organizations, sibling.
Exactly.
Nothing is done until someone's upset somebody, or the time is, or the information is so much out there. It's kind of like, you know what, we can't hold it back anymore. Still, you're on the chopping block now. Still, we're gonna give you a little something, and you're gonna have to do the apology rounds and this and that and blah blah blah. You can't keep that. There's pictures of them out drinking and all this business when he was an intern at BBC, working under the same show.
We know what it is. But you gotta remember, they made sure to cover that before it got to this level, because that the boy in question, he was paid. Now he hasn't been paid in way of an official NDA, but he's been paid, and unless he speaks, then there's no, there's no, we know what it is, but he would need to speak.
He needs to speak. Oh, of course.
Yeah, and he's not going to speak because he's been paid. And
he
he's
went to Loose Women.
Good job at Loose Women right now.
Loose Women, exactly, sibling. You see, it's kind of like, 1 and 1. What does it equal, guys? In the normal world, it equals 2, right? Shit. If we're gonna use gematria, it's 11, right? Like, come on, man. It's just like it's wrong. It's wrong on all levels. On a serious note, it's wrong on all levels. We need to be calling this stuff out, but unfortunately, we're at a point where George Orwell's famous book 1984 and Fahrenheit 451, we're living it. The Ministry of Truth and You Speak is in full effect. Written in 1948, I might add. We got social engineering and programmers that have been doing this thing. Sigmund Freud. Like, people really like, just take a moment out when you got some time. Just take some moment out and just pick a loose thread where you think, this is what the mainstream said. Let me just pull on this thread. Let me go into an alternative platform. Let's have a look at stuff, and you will be surprised, man. This is, as Mark says, the long game, long-term thinking. This is what these wicked demons are doing. They've got a very long-term plan. It's all out there. White papers. They've got non-fictional, fictional books, and I'm using with air quotes, that are out there. And if we look at the society that we're in now, like it's a mirror image. Who's the godfather of propaganda? Look into him. My God, Dan. It's a sophisticated. I tip my hat to these little wicked so-and-sos. I tip my hat to them. It's so pervasive. It goes everywhere. There's nowhere where we can turn where these little wicked demons, these space monkeys, haven't got their little fingers, haven't installed their mindsets, their colonial mindset, like into the majority of the African leaders. Hence, we don't have a unified continent of Africa as a powerhouse running the whole shebang.
Yeah, that would be crazy. That would be absolutely crazy if them man were to really, if you really think about how powerful that continent should be, it's like that continent should really be above Europe and Asia. Yep. Because why? Facts. I speak with facts. Where are all the natural resources at?
Right there.
Exactly. That's the land that God literally blessed that land with those natural resources. Mm-hmm. A man can literally take a piece of shovel and go. Oh, it's gold.
Yes.
Where, can you do that in your garden?
Nah, pal.
There we go. You see what I'm saying? So, and remember, that's not just that. It goes with a bag of different minerals. But the place was pillaged and mashed up to the point of, yes, it's building back, and yes, it is, a beautiful continent, but nowhere what it should be.
This should be the shining beacon, man. Everyone should be like, yo, we need to be on that African vibe. Like what them man's doing.
Facts.
Rather than we got the brains of the beast here, controlling with all the tentacles, the belly of the beast in the wilderness of North America, and then we got China and Russia doing their thing. And China's asleep.
Facts. Just before we wrap up the stream, I was chatting to an elder the other day, and he was telling me that, that car company, Toyota, they would like go to the Caribbean and do deals with the Caribbean leaders on like a bag of cars, but them cars are made specifically for the Caribbean.
Yes. So
the parts are kind of whack and they're just very bare minimum. You know how it is when you go them. You see them Toyotas that you don't see nowhere else in the world.
Yes.
But now Jamaica's done a deal with Nigeria. And the next set of cars are coming from Nigeria. Nigeria actually have a car that they produce. I forgot some of the branding.
I know, and it's nice looking things. I remember a couple of years back when it first came out.
You see things like that. Listen, listen. Things you see if them man build and expand like that and get that car where it needs to be, it can be a madness. Like really, that's where all them top cars should be coming from Africa. Let's keep it 1,000. Because when you really check it, the Germans, they're eating differently, The car world, they dominate, man. A German, and take it from me, the Germans engineering is top notch. Yeah. Like them man know how to build cars. They know what they're doing. You're dealing with Audi, Mercedes, VW. What's the other one?
Audi, VW, BMW, Mercedes.
Yeah, all German. The French, they have nice looking cars, but Anytime I've had a French car, it always has electric problems.
Electrics, yeah. Francais cars, man. Peugeot, damn Citroen.
And Fiat as well.
Yeah, Fiat, yeah.
See what I'm saying? But yeah, man. I know, but we've had a lovely stream.
Definite, man.
We've covered a lot still.
Most definite. More food, man. Pure meat, a little bit of vegetables, some gravy, some organic flipping apple juice as well. You heard me?
That's it, man. People, it's the Saturday stream. And you know what, man? Hit the like. That's the most important thing. Because that like button, it makes man know you like it. So hit that like, man. Express Truth, CFR News. We out of here, man.